Tom here from Gemmer, and I'm here today with Peter Kaskons. He's a Boston area product photographer, and he spent most of his career, 30 plus years, right in the business, creating great images for product companies all over the Boston area. So what we want to do today, Peter, is just ask you a few questions. So like if you had to give advice to people on Gemmer on how to get the best images for their items, what sorts of things would you tell them? I mean, what is the key to getting a really great image?
I think the key to begin with is to pick a background that suits your subject. If the product's light, you put it on a darker background so it pops out.
Yep. Another thing that I noticed that you did is you took this white paper and kind of draped it over this table setup that you have here, and I noticed that creates this really nice background that doesn't produce any shadows. Now is that called a gobo?
It's a sweep. What you do is you create a curve so it doesn't catch any light.
Okay.
The curve should be pretty prominent. It's not, you don't want a shallow curve because that becomes almost like a corner.
Yep. Right, and the great thing about that is you can use construction paper that you get at like a craft store like Michael's or Staples.
Poster board.
Yeah, poster board
anything
or whatever.
Like that.
Yeah.
If you do go out and you buy poster board or construction paper to put your product on, they also have foam core. If you're in a window, the window's coming in, it's directional. You want to get some light back into the product, you put a little piece of white card right next to it and it will pump light right back in.
It fills it right in nice.
Right in.
Yeah, I noticed you doing that today on our shoot.
Yeah.
You had that little piece that was over here that was not only providing fill but was helping reduce some of the glare, I think, that was coming in on some of the glass that we saw. So yeah.
You don't need fancy lights. We shot a lot today with just using daylight balanced fluorescent lights, and it works.
So one of the things that you mentioned was daylight balanced light. So let's make sure we understand what that is. So a daylight balanced light is really light that's the same color temperature that you would see if you were outside in the sun. Is that right?
55 is considered daylight. They have daylight bulbs for small lamps.
You can get them, the LEDs that they have on now.
Yeah. The other thing is with the iPhones and the smartphones, they have a pretty auto auto balance. If the light is a consistent light, you shouldn't have any problems. The iPhones can adjust to that. If you have a daylight window or a window with daylight coming through it, and you've got a lamp with a tungsten bulb in it, now you're going to have problems because you're going to have color shifts.
Right, because that tungsten is that more yellowy kind of lower temperature light, in the 3200 to 2800K, right?
Right.
So, and the other thing that I wanted to bring up was the notion of flash. I mean, sometimes you see people using flash for these kinds of pictures, and that creates a lot of problems because it kind of creates a harsh light. You're much more, I notice, you really don't even use flash that often in your photography anymore. You use mostly available light, right?
We do use available light a lot. The flashes on the iPhones and things like that, and even if in some of these point and shoot cameras, they're going to create problems for you. They're going to create hot spots. They're going to create flare, especially if you're photographing like something with glass or something metallic that shines. Your flash is just going to really just create this.
Accentuate those problems,
it's going to just create a big hot spot, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. If you've got some nice windows, if you've got a nice northern light coming in, and you can set up a little table by the window, that works great. If you've got a nice product and you have to be pulled back because it's a fairly large product, but the product has nice detail in it, take the product shot and then go in and take some of the detail shots. That way you'll get both. You'll get the full product, but then you'll have insets of your photographs for the details.
Now, a lot of people tend to take their pictures and upload their images directly from our mobile apps. Are there any, have you had a chance to play around with some of these mobile cameras and phone cameras, and do you have any advice for the kinds of settings that you might use there? In other words, like for example, I like to use the HDR function on my iPhone. Do you see that as a good use of features?
the HDR works really well. I know they have little tripods for your cell phones. I would recommend using one. There's also on your cell phone, when you tap on the screen, it comes up with a little slide that you can adjust. You can adjust your levels. So if it's too dark, you bring it up. If it's too light, you drop it down. Pretty decent editing tools in your iPhones or your smartphones.
Peter Kaskons, Boston area product photographer, and we hope that we provided you with some great advice on how to produce much better images for your Gemmer items.